Hey guys, it's Marlon Dance from Dance's Sporting Goods. House Bill 961 is perhaps the most extreme piece of proposed firearm legislation in our entire nation. To understand what's so wrong with House Bill 961, we must first understand what's in it. House Bill 961 will simultaneously classify numerous types of firearms as assault firearms and make them illegal to sell, possess, or transfer. We will no longer ever call an assault rifle because there's no such thing. These rifles are modern sporting arms, and that's the way they should be referred to. Many of these fine firearms are used for recreational shooting and hunting daily and legally in the Commonwealth. Under this ridiculous legislation, a law-abiding citizen will not be able to own any semi-automatic rifle with a fixed magazine capacity greater than 10, or any semi-automatic rifle with the following features: a pistol grip, a thumb hole, telescoping or folding stock, capacity to have a flash suppressor or a muzzle brake, a bayonet lug, and several other features that numerous types of rifles have. These will not only completely outlaw AR-15s, but most of the popular firearms in the United States, but other types of rifles also. Possession of any of these rifles after the law is enacted will make you a felon. The bill contains similar proposals for regulations of pistols and shotguns, also rendering you a felon if you own a prohibited assault gun. The language in this bill is intentionally vague and misleading because the legislators and the government don't want you to realize that they aim to make nearly all firearms illegal. It also of note that such legislation will cause most firearms dealers in the Commonwealth to close their doors. That's right, they want to shut us down and go out of business, further limiting your access to firearms of all types as a law-abiding citizen. Furthermore, private ownership of things such as suppressors and high-capacity magazines that you bought legally will be outlawed under threat of becoming a convicted felon. What is exactly considered a high-capacity magazine? The Democrats have decided, that's right, they have decided a magazine holding more than 10 rounds of ammunition is high capacity. That is the limit they have decided you are allowed to defend yourself with. This piece of treacherous legislation would outlaw sale of such prohibited items after July 1st of this year, and citizens would have until January 1, 2021 to dispose of, destroy, or turn in to the government these firearms and accessories that you have purchased legally, and if you're caught with them, you would be found a felon. In an attempt to hide what they're doing and make it appear like it isn't a complete betrayal of our Constitution and founding as a whole, the legislation has included in the bill provisions to obtain a license to own such firearms and accessories. The catch. That's right, the catch. The permit required to enter into the Virginia Criminal Information Network to include your personal information and description along with your address, as well as any description of assault firearms that you own. This is not the same as a concealed carry permit ownership, where all you need to give is your personal information and address. Each newly defined assault firearm, as the legislation has written it, will need to be accounted for in your permit. The Democrats have, with this piece of legislation, they have showed their hand and admit that they want a registry of firearms. Let this be clear, and this is the most important thing that we're talking about here. A firearm registry is the most un-American thing imaginable, and they know it. We cannot let this happen. What they want in the end is to use this as a stepping stone to outlaw these sorts of firearms completely. And we've seen this before. If this extreme legislation passes, it will not reduce one bit of violence because it will only affect law-abiding citizens with no intent of using their firearms in any type of crime. Then they will call for a complete ban of the firearms they describe, and anyone who still owns them with the permits they offer will have their inventory on file with the government so that they will know where to come and get them, even before a full confiscation. These proposed permits that will register your firearms will impact us. Imagine how those who have permits will be treated by the gun-hating government when they see that you own one. Tyranny is just a few pen strokes away. Our state, this commonwealth, is being used as a testing grounds for this volatile anti-constitutional legislation that seeks to strip the populace of its ability to defend itself. We should not forget that the Second Amendment was specifically created to preserve the right of the people to defend themselves from a government turned tyrannical. And we should be mortified that the government is so openly seeking to strip us of that ability. Boy, they know what they're doing. They know that this legislation will have precisely zero impact on violence and crime, yet they seek it anyway. We must ask why, and then be active and vocal in demanding that they do not pass such legislation. I encourage you all to speak reasonably with those in your life who support this legislation and to do your best to explain to them what is so wrong with it. We cannot settle for changing the mind of the legislature. We must also work through reason and rationality to bring our fellow Virginians to our side, even if they don't agree with us yet. Use your voice and your words to make fellow statesmen aware of what's at stake. Governor Northam has set the stage so that he can paint us as extremists. We must prove him and his cronies wrong and demonstrate that we are in the right while reminding him that we will not be tread upon. It is our cause and duty to stop awful proposals like House Bill 961 before the government is even able to threaten to take our means of defense. To everyone on both sides of this issue, if you have any questions or want to be part of any conversations, stop by Dance's Sporting Goods and we'll be glad to talk to you about any of these matters. I'm Marlon Dance. Thank you so much for your time.